I have an important question for you all. Are you ready to rock it?
I guess that is.
What's up, guys? I'm the East Coaster fan, and today we're here to mourn the loss and remember Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit, the famous roller coaster that was at Universal Studios Florida at the Universal Orlando Resort. That's a mouthful. In GP terms, this was the red roller coaster. It had that vertical lift, it had that weird non-inverting loop, it went through the building, and went into City Walk a little bit. Now there are, I'd say, 3 different camps in terms of this roller coaster. There are the people who like this coaster, just fine. There are the people who really like it, and there are the people who would wish that Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit would burn in hell. So yeah, I fall into the camp of people who really like Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit. I got the chance to ride Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit during 2 times in my life. When I went in January of 2023, and then when I went in September 2024. And that was during Halloween Horror Nights, which is even better. I got to do it at night. And both of my times doing Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit were a blast. I like the coaster a lot. As an experience. We'll talk about how it rode in a little bit. Having the ability to choose your own songs from a big list of pre-chosen songs, but in all different genres of music. They were all fun. I mean, you could be rocking out on this ride, or you could be listening to country or whatever. Plus, there was the secret list that you could hold down the logo of the ride and then input a number code and get even more songs. And there were some good ones. You could ride Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit listening to Rainbow Connection by Kermit the Frog. There were some U2 songs on there. There was, I believe, Night on Bald Mountain. There was a huge list. And that is really what made this coaster so re-rideable. You could go on this multiple times and see, oh, this song was better than the other one that I did, and maybe I should try this other song, but I also like the song that I did before, so maybe I should do that one again. You could see it just led to so many possibilities riding this roller coaster, and it was fun all the time. But let's address the elephant in the room, how it rode. If you never got the chance to ride Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit, the best way I'd describe it is feeling a bit like an aero coaster from like the 80s. You go through these elements and there are parts that are smooth, but like, you're just jostling around, and I think it's part of the train design. This is a Mauer coaster, one of their X-Car models, which hasn't really popped off since this ride. I wonder if there's a connection. Mauer makes some other coasters that you may recognize. They do a lot of the spinning coasters, like Laugh Track at Hershey Park is a good example. So you might be wondering though, why the heck did Universal go with Mauer? And there's a whole lot of rumors around this topic. The biggest one claims that Universal was originally looking at B&M, the company that makes like Apollo's Chariot, to basically create a similar experience that was Hollywood Dream at Universal Studios Japan. And that ride had a similar feature where you can listen to music while you were going around. Now, whether B&M wasn't available, they were building Manta that same year, or it just wasn't feasible for B&M, we'll probably never know unless an insider tells us, but that is the leading rumor as to why Mauer was picked. And then they delivered Rip Ride Rockit, which, when it was announced, I remember it. It was really cool seeing that concept art with that LED vertical lift. Of course, we got a banner instead, and then the banner disappeared. And then it just looked like a party when you were on it. The big advertisement was you pick your own soundtrack, and you could be in your own music video. Now the first part of that I think actually succeeded. You look at other coasters with a similar gimmick. Rock and Roller Coaster at Disney's Hollywood Studios. That ride had Aerosmith when you were going around the course, and that was really one of the first rides that did that. I think the only other one that I can really think of is Space Mountain at Disneyland Paris. So how do you one-up Rock and Roller Coaster? Well, on that ride you can only listen to Aerosmith, but what if you don't like Aerosmith? What if you were able to choose your own music? And I think that was the genesis for Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit. But then the music video part was also a relatively new feature, where they stuck cameras on the back of the seat, or in the case of the front row, the Zero car. Now, of course, that's 2009 quality camera right there, and I'm not sure if that ever changed during the course of the ride's existence, but if you wanted to have a video of yourself on a Universal coaster, that's your best shot. But I think one of the big things with Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit was that In a park that is filled to the brim with IP attractions, Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit was an original. And it's always sad to lose an original because I feel like more and more we're seeing less original attractions and more focused on IP. In the case of Universal, they've kind of stuck with IP for most of their existence, and it's sort of rare when they go original. At that time, the only other original attraction, I believe, was Disaster, maybe? Maybe there was another one, but I can't really remember. You had some at Islands of Adventure, but this was really an era of Universal that was definitely of the times. There was definitely a shift of how Universal was perceived before Rip Ride Rockit and after Rip Ride Rockit. Because look what came right after. The Wizarding World of Harry Potter at Islands of Adventure. You talk to anyone who was a fan of theme parks around this time, Harry Potter is the land that basically changed everything. And it certainly did for Universal. They suddenly became a real competitor to Disney. Before that point, Universal was just kind of like the sort of add-on you add to your Disney trips, but people were starting to plan their whole trips around Harry Potter, and you could see why Universal continues to really focus on this franchise, even in Epic Universe. Epic Universe is about the only place we've seen Universal dive into original IP with Stardust Racers. But then again, that is technically a Back to the Future coaster. It has the flux capacitor. And looking at the theme of Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit, listen, I love it. I think it's campy and fun, but it's definitely dated. Universal really didn't do any upgrades to this attraction during most of its life, until sort of the very end when they shrunk down their massive list of songs to, I believe, just 5? I don't know what they were thinking there. I guess either the music licenses fell out, or they just wanted to modernize and they didn't really want to try since they knew it was going to be leaving soon. Overall, I was a fan of Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit, but I definitely knew that its days were numbered, especially in a park like Universal Studios Florida. Trust me, there are other attractions that I think should be worth focusing on more than Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit, but with it being such a problematic attraction, it was bound to be replaced at some point. And listen, I trust the teams at Universal Creative a ton. Look at what they did with their recent coasters. You had Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure, a coaster with the gargantuan task of replacing an iconic ride like Dueling Dragons. And it did it. It created a fun family thrill coaster that was really high tech and super popular. What else do you do? Well, for the thrill seekers at Universal, you add Velocicoaster, also at Islands of Adventure, which is widely considered to be one of the best roller coasters ever built. And then Stardust Racers at Epic Universe, in which I haven't personally ridden that coaster yet, but people are also saying that they knocked it out of the park. And with Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift coming to Universal Studios Hollywood, it looks like that trend's only going to continue. So if you're going to be replacing Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit, most likely with another coaster, I fully trust that they're going to be able to do it. I just think you need to have one thing with it. Themed audio. I don't even think you need to have the ability to choose your own music, as fun as it is, because I could see Universal not wanting to constantly renew the music licenses. I'm sure that became a headache. But you put in an awesome freaking soundtrack like Stardust Racers. That thing's a banger. I think you're in good hands, and whatever IP it is, just please choose a good one. Don't make it the Minions roller coaster, although that ride does look good. Now before I go, it wouldn't be a proper dedication, tribute, whatever you want to call it, to Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit if I didn't invite the biggest fan of Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit I know.
Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit, for me, it was just something else. It was something that was not like every other roller coaster that I've ridden. It was majority of all the childhood memories that I had on it that just made it special to me. I have too many memories on that. Every single memory is good and different. A fun childhood memory. I loved that ride so much. There was just something about it. I really don't know, but I loved that ride so much with all of my heart. Ever since the first ride, I fell in love. It was just something about the whole thing. Choosing your own music, the ambiance, everything. The whole atmosphere, just all about that ride was just something special to my heart. If there is one memory that I do have to pick out, saying that's my favorite, it either has to be doing the Orlando Informer event and marathoning Rockit right as it opened after being down for weather, and just all the team members being just super awesome. But I think what tops that is when I went down for my birthday this year and I rode Rockit 23 times. Just all the team members were just giving me the best time ever. They were all so kind, so nice, and I just loved them. They brought that energy to Rockit that really no other ride has. They're all just amazing. And I'm now friends with a lot of them because just they're amazing people, and I wish them the best in wherever their journeys are. The combination of everything is what made Rockit have my heart. The ride was great. The music was amazing. The team members, the childhood memories, just everything about Rockit just embodied who I am today. And I'm gonna miss that ride so much. If there was a ride out there that I considered to be mine, it was Rockit. Rockit was that was my zero coaster. And it forever will be my zero coaster.
Thank you, David, for sharing your thoughts on Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit. Be sure to subscribe to his channel and follow him on Instagram at StormrunnerSam. He makes awesome content. In fact, I was in one of his Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit videos. Go check that one out. So yeah, I personally am gonna miss Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit. I really liked my experiences on it, and it'll be sad to not be able to ride it anymore. At this point in time, Universal is currently demolishing the ride rather quickly while Halloween Horror Nights is going on, so we'll see how that goes. If you're one that wasn't a fan of Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit, then the future's looking pretty bright for you because you're probably going to have an attraction that you're going to love coming very soon. But for those who did care about Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit, farewell. Thank you for your fun experiences, and let's hit it one last time.
Let's hit it! HASTA!